Hello, everyone. Welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, a blue dot and a red state, utilizing tarot to offer insight into these very interesting times we have going on here in the United States. So I'm really glad that you're here and welcome. The focus of today's reading is going to be, I guess this should be like part 2 of the weaponization of the DOJ, but specifically looking into this. They're now they have found a lawyer to sign off on prosecuting former FBI Director James Comey. And I want to kind of read from you. This is from the New York Times. Okay, first, I actually want to read like kind of what's going on with this. And this first part, I got this information from watching Glenn Kirshner on Brian Tyler Cohen. Okay, so they are alleging the DOJ, Trump, is alleging that 5 years ago James Comey lied to Congress on September 30th, 2020, and that is a very important date. And whether or not he allowed a leak of information. And so the reason that date is so important is because there's a 5-year statute of limitations. And so they have to file these charges in by September 30th, or else the statute of limitations runs up. Which is why in that DM that Trump accidentally, shed out there, that he was like, "Time's running out. We have to do this." Well, that's why. Because some of that was like, why? That doesn't make sense. But now it starts making sense. So they haven't been able to find a lawyer to sign on to this, and so they have found the lawyer, Lindsay Halligan. Was the lawyer chosen by Trump to replace the ousted U.S. Attorney of the Eastern District of Virginia, has left no doubt about her willingness to lead a charge on his behalf. This part is coming out of the New York Times. So I want to read just a little bit of this, and it's kind of like setting the stage for what's going on here and kind of where I'm going with this reading. So this Lindsay Halligan is one of his personal lawyers, and she oversaw the class. She denounced the FBI when the agent seized classified documents there at Mar-a-Lago, and she, as a White House special assistant, she's taken the lead in scrutinizing exhibits at the Smithsonian for improper ideology. So, lacking from her background, this is the New York Times, says, lacking from her background altogether, however, is any experience in working as a prosecutor or overseeing the complex national security cases that regularly pass through the Eastern District of Virginia. So, our democracy is going to be saved in part by their idiocracy, by their ineptness, by their absolute just lack of, any kind of, expertise or knowledge. So what I want to do, Trump now has, his yes person there to sign off on this stuff. They're in, the Eastern District of Virginia. What I want to do is I want to look into base reading into James Comey. And is this going to kind of find it? I have a feeling this part 2 is going to be just the same thing of what we saw with the reading that I did on George Soros. That it's like they talk a big game, but there's no evidence and it all falls apart. And I tell you what, those judges are getting kind of sick of Trump and his shit. So, aren't we all? We are all right there with you. So, looking into the weaponization of the DOJ, part 2, and this investigation into James Comey and whether or not he lied. They're saying that he lied under oath because he said he did not allow that leak, and they're saying he did. So, are they going to, base reading into what all that looks like? The investigation and prosecution of James Comey. As always, this is for entertainment purposes only. Looking into base reading into James Comey. They have been discussing this. They're talking about, who can we get to do this? And that's the very first thing, finding somebody. They had somebody there. Notice this person is now behind and got kicked out because now we found our person that's going to give us the world. Slow and steady's the pace, the Knight of Pentacles, and that's the challenge. And this could also be like finding the evidence. Pentacles is money. Okay, it's money, prosperity. It's also those tangible things. So a lot of times I will say this is like, show me the receipts. So the challenge is finding the receipts, finding the evidence to this grand plan of theirs. Coming in, whoo, the Tower card. Yeah, that's how well that's going to go for them. This is going to blow up in their face. This is going to fall apart. If the Judgment card comes up in this, I'm going to be like, and there it is. Okay, the Foundation, I was like, is it the Judgment card? Is the Page of Wands. Pages are messengers, wands is messages. So this is like my super message card. This is a card literally of the messaging, and since we're talking about the weaponization of the DOJ, that's what this is. It's all about the messaging. Okay, it's not about the action, it's about the messaging. What are we saying? Because they don't have the evidence, so it's all like trying it in the court of public opinion. And it blows up in their face. Queen of Swords, the action that they're taking. He found his Roy Cohn whenever in this Lindsay Hannigan or Halligan. Like she doesn't care about her law license. She's gonna use that law license to do the bidding of Trump. Well, you might want to look at how that's worked out for the lawyers in the first Trump era. And, that's why when people say they act like they're never leaving, this is going to be one of those things of they're acting like they're never leaving and that she's never going to lose her law license. This is telling me, this is like the American people beg to differ. Okay, this is not gonna hold up in court of law. Yeah, I've been reading this card is always my rash action, the hasty action, not thinking things through. I've also been seeing this as the legal mistakes, and that has been confirmed by so many of these judges' rulings. The New York Times lawsuit judge threw it out and was like, no. And I mean, part of it was just literally the mistakes that were made in the filing itself. So that is our democracy is going to be saved because of their stupidity, their hubris, their not paying attention to like the basic laws. And so that they're going to have a hard time with that just because these judges have had it. And so if they throw it out and they just have to keep refiling, I'm kind of wondering if we're not going to start seeing a form of resistance. Oh, there's a reading right there. Are we going to start seeing a form of resistance in the courts with this? And the reason I say that is, as I was saying, like their stupidity, the DOJ, the Trump side, their stupidity is going to be their undoing. And they don't criminal well. So these filings that have mistakes, some of these judges have been like, well, you can amend this, you can do this. But that New York Times judge was like, I'm not even going to, he just threw the case out. So at that point, if the case can't even get heard, it can't go to the Supreme Court. And as I was saying this, whenever I was first going through this, what I saw was the grand juries there in DC, they can't even get indictments now because the grand jury's like, yeah, we're not going to indict somebody over a fucking sub sandwich. Okay. So, and I mean, there's been, the last I saw, there was 7 cases that they could not get indictments on. And I know that, like people like Barbara McQuade, I really like her. She is like, if she has seen that like maybe one time in her career, she's not seen it 7 times in such a short time. That it's just unheard of. So I'm going to ask that right here. Are the judges going to start fighting back by throwing these cases out because then they can't go to the Supreme Court? Well, there's a form of resistance. Are the judges going to start throwing these cases out that the Trump administration brings? It's like the boy who cried wolf. That's what I'm seeing with this. It's like the boy who cried wolf. Are the courts going to start fighting back? Because I know those lower courts, they've had it with the Supreme Court, haven't we all? And so are the courts going to start fighting back? They're weary. They're looking at their options. What can we do? Within our purview of the law, what is our lane? That's what this is. What do we have at our disposal? And these frivolous lawsuits being brought, I see that they're going to start the challenge. Be patient. And the challenge is these courts do not have any more patience for this whatsoever. And so I think that they go back, do this again. This is also a part of mastery. This is, like a repetitive motion that you do over and over again to master, whatever trade that you have. So this is like the judge is going to be saying, go back, do it again. Fight. If I'm not going to hear, if you don't have the professional respect and decency and knowledge to even file the paperwork correctly, don't waste the court's time. That's what I'm seeing with this. Like, go back to law school. Go hone your skills there as a lawyer, because what I'm seeing here doesn't show that you are a lawyer that knows what they're doing. Okay, that's what I'm seeing with this. Oh my goodness! And quickly, hold on. Sorry, I was like, wait, where am I in my reading? Yeah. Start expecting to see these judges in the recent past. This is the laying in state, like they weren't pushing back as hard, but now they realize that they have a place in the fight against this fascist, wannabe dictator. And this is them holding on to power. This is them in their courtrooms holding on to, like this is the foundation of the law that they're standing on, that they're exhibiting in their court, and that the knowledge coming in. That's how I'm going to see that in this situation of using the law in like literally mind, body, and spirit, like everywhere. And they're not cutting them any slack anymore. Well, that was a nice turn of events. I was not expecting that. I was expecting, I don't even know what I was doing this reading on. Was it James Comey? It could have been. It's like I'm looking at my notes here going, oh, I have James Comey pulled up. Did I read? Yeah, I read through all of that. Yeah. So, this reading with James Comey took a very different turn, and one that I'm very happy about, that these courts, these lower court, these judges have had it. So, this next phase of resistance is taking an interesting turn. Everybody is going to be more nuanced in their resistance. And by nuanced, it's like, okay, we now know, fight fascism. Those capitalistic companies, they want to make money. Okay, we're going to withdraw our money. The judges, they want this to go to the Supreme Court because they know we're not going to give them what we want, so we're just not going to hear the case. That is like the feeling that is that going to happen here specifically in the Comey case? I don't know that. Actually, I'm feeling like, I think that actually is going to happen with this case, because I'm sitting here going, well, it could take a while, this, and it was like a resounding, no, that's exactly what's going to happen. So expect more of that. Well, good for those lower courts. That makes me a lot happier, knowing that these lower courts are figuring out, like they're getting their stride of how can we resist? How can we do this? Now, they're not going to throw this right here is telling me they're not going to throw it out just to throw it out. There will be very valid legal reasons as to why they're throwing them out. And some of this is just the simple reasons of, you didn't file the paperwork correctly. Try again. That's what I'm feeling with this. Oh my God, would that not be, if they file that incorrectly and the statute of limitations comes up? Oh, I got to ask that. I'm sorry. I just got real excited about that possibility. Is that what's going to be what happens in this? Is it going to get thrown out past the statute of limitations? Oh my God, that would be so funny. If that happens and you hear laughing like in the distance, that's me. That will be me laughing. Is this what's going to happen? Is she going to file this incorrectly, and is the judge going to throw it out? Oh, wow. Okay. When I ask, let me pick up some of the, let me move all of these cards out of the way. I don't want this to get in. I want you guys to be able to see these, like, may even turn these around so that you guys can see them upright here. Let me get these all the way turned around so we can read them. Are we reading them the right way? I don't even know. Okay, but you guys can see these now better. Yeah. Okay. So the first card I put out, whenever I asked, actually, I am going to switch those back around for me. Okay. Sorry. I need them this way for me. So, when I asked, is this what's going to happen with the James Comey case? Is it going to get thrown out because they didn't even file it correctly? And the very first card that comes up is the death card. This puts an end to something because they didn't do it correctly because of their damn lies and the justice. Like, go, you work for the, I'm like, I am feeling from this judge, you work for the Justice Department and that's the best you've got. And you pair that, let me come back here with, with the Tower card and the rash action and the, these cards here, which is, you remember that Tower card that came up with the rash action and go back to school, hone your skills, stop trying to pass off, I'm trying to get that to where it's shoddy work, this judge is not going to have it at all. And the and is using the law to say, we're not doing this. Alrighty then. So expect a dressing down from the courts on this. This judge isn't having it. And if it's not this case, expect it to be one of these cases really soon. I mean, like, I'm feeling like my guys are saying, don't you dare say it's not this case. So, okay, let's let that be right. I really do try really hard to, really focus in on the energy but also to kind of keep it lighthearted. So there's kind of like this mix of I'm really focusing, but trying to keep it lighthearted. So, that's what I'm getting today. Expect some resistance coming from these judges. So, would that not just be perfect for this to happen, for them to, because there's the statute of limitations, if they just kind of like fuck themselves. Oh, well, I really appreciate you joining me today. I will absolutely be watching this one because I was not expecting this reading went a completely different way. Was not expecting that to come up. So I will put another reading up here for you to check out. Like, subscribe, share, all that great stuff. And I will catch you on the next reading. Have a great day.